You know, every Christmas, I can't help but ask myself, when did I lose my innocence? The Christmas innocence, that is. That first one's a story for another time. You all know what I'm talking about, though. When did Christmas go from you having to pretend like you like the shampoo you got from Grandma to actually being genuinely excited about the shampoo you got? Like, that's $5 you saved me, Grandma. Maybe I'll actually eat this week and be able to pay back my student loans. Like, crippling student loans. But do you remember a time when the holidays were a little more fun? Like, remember how cool Christmas used to be? All these socks and bottles of shampoo you're getting now used to be action figures and video games. It's just so weird thinking how much the meaning of Christmas changes as you get older. I could really care less about the gift giving and whatnot now. I'm just happy for the day off of work. But just thinking back on all this makes me, well, first feel a little empty inside, and then remember how fortunate I really was. Like, I was one of those kids who actually got a Tickle Me Elmo as a kid. Do you know how hard these things were to get? Pretty sure somebody died trying to get one. So somebody died for Elmo. Anyways, let's talk about a few Christmas gifts people died trying to get me. Or maybe they didn't die. Who knows? That's fun of the holidays.
Gator Golf! Step right up!
What could be greater than golf with a gator?
But I don't know, like everything? So, what exactly is Gator Golf? Really? It's not obvious? Gator Golf has you putting some balls into a sad-looking gator's mouth and having him fling back the balls in disgust. That's it. Gator Golf is an example of a Christmas gift that actually scares me looking back on it. Not because it involves a big ol' scary croc, but because this is one of those gifts that, well, I didn't even know why I wanted it. I just saw the commercial and my brain at the time was like, yep, looks like the best thing ever, so I got one. And I used it for a few hours and then moved on. This toy just kind of shows how effective advertising can be on kids. It's actually pretty scary, especially considering it was one of the most popular Christmas gifts back in 1994. Like, you can get the same amount of fun hitting a ball into a coffee mug. So, what made this toy so appealing? I don't know, maybe kids are just stupid. At least watching him fling back the ball was pretty
A puppy? Who's gonna walk him?
I am. Come on, Tekno, come on.
Who's gonna train him?
I teach him Tekno lots of cool tricks.
You know, it's crazy seeing all the wacky stuff kids get for Christmas nowadays. iPhones, drones, hatchable demons. Well, let me tell you what, those are nothing compared to this little pooch right here. Now, while this toy probably looks pretty primitive by today's standards, the original Tekno was a huge deal when it launched during the holiday season of 2000. With over 100 different functions, Tekno could be taught to walk, bark, and sleep, all just by using your voice. He could even learn more advanced things, like a card trick. Yeah, let's see your dumb old real dog do that. Developed by Toy Quest in the year 2000, this toy retailed for $40 and ended up selling over 7 million units. Now, to understand why Tekno was such a big deal, you have to understand the time in which he was released. We were still 7 years out from the original iPhone, and home computers were just slowly starting to become the norm in the average household. So, to most people, technology like this had never been seen before, especially at a $40 price tag. This was technology that we only thought was possible in science fiction movies and TV shows. Artificial intelligence, speech recognition, robotic movement, it was all in a kid's toy. It was obvious that Tekno was way ahead of its time. But, like any piece of cutting-edge technology, Tekno was soon forgotten and outdated. Now, as some of you may know, Toy Quest is still continuing to launch new iterations of Tekno every few years, with even cats and turtles joining the lineup with Tekno 2.0. which ended up being a pretty big leap forward for these toys by giving them even more commands and voices, which I just find unsettling.
He's even programmed to tell you what he wants.
Hey, how about some food, bitch?
What do we say?
Bitch, give me that shit.
But these new iterations of Tekno weren't new or exciting anymore. Voice recognition is now found in our pockets and in our cars. So, the Tekno line of toys ended up just becoming another cheap electronic kids toy, instead of continuing to be a fun and exciting way to introduce kids and families to new and innovative forms of technology. But for now, Tekno will be remembered as just another mechanical canine. Yeah, it's the Rescue Heroes!
Who the fuck are the Rescue Heroes?
Well, for those of you who have no idea who the Rescue Heroes are, they were basically a line of toys introduced in 1997 by Fisher-Price based on various forms of rescue groups like firefighters and police officers, and aimed to teach kids what to do in emergency situations. I don't know about you, but mine like to fight my Legos more than fires and crime, but that's besides the point. From what I remember though, this line of toys was everywhere, from their extreme 80s inspired commercials, to video games, to even a TV show with a direct-to-video CGI movie. Now, back then, I knew absolutely nothing about the Rescue Heroes themselves. I just kinda knew they existed. But during the Christmas season of 2002, I saw this commercial.
Rescue Heroes Aquatic Rescue Command Center. Voice tech figures and vehicles, each sold separately. Batteries not included.
I had to have it. And rewatching this commercial now, it doesn't surprise me. These commercials made the Rescue Heroes look so badass with just the amount of energy that was present in them. I didn't even care who these Rescue Heroes were. I just wanted to save that poor stranded whale with that badass ship. Now, let's be real here. This thing was awesome for its time. On top of being a huge playset for all your figures, it also had some really unique features for a kid's toy at the time. It had this big monitor in the center of the ship which actually let each character interact with it with their own unique voice clips. You see, each Rescue Heroes figure had contact pads on their back, which could be used to connect different accessories to. This would allow each character to uniquely interact with every single one of the playsets and accessories released, which is a really cool and unique feature that I don't think I've seen in any other kids' toy. Now, I'm not exaggerating when I say this is probably one of the best Christmas gifts I could have ever received as a kid. Not because I thought the Rescue Heroes were cool or anything, I actually tried to watch the show as a kid and honestly couldn't care less, but it's because of the years of playtime I got out of this thing. You see, to a kid's imagination, anything can be anything. A box can be a spaceship, a broom can be a big ol' sword, or a knife can be a tasty lollipop. Okay, maybe not that last thing. But to me, this Rescue Heroes boat was my Teen Titans Tower from the original Teen Titans. I mean, all you gotta do is squint a little bit, maybe rotate it, and yeah, close enough. Now, to give context, I loved the original Teen Titans as a kid, and had so many of the figures, but no place for them to call home. So I evicted my Rescue Heroes from their home and my Teen Titans moved in. So why am I including this story about Teen Titans in the Rescue Heroes section of this video? Well, because sometimes it wasn't the gift itself that made it so memorable for me, but the memories tied to that gift. And it's these memories of the variety of uses that I got from this playset that makes it one of the most memorable Christmas gifts I've ever received as a kid. So, for this next one, let me set the stage. The year was 2002, and I was happily still playing away on my parents' old Super Nintendo. Yeah, I already know what you're saying. Super Nintendo in 2002? Where was your N64? I know. I unfortunately skipped the N64 growing up. I don't know if it was just my parents not knowing what one was or what, but my only experience with 3D games at the time was the very few times I got to play an N64 at my cousin's house. So basically, I hadn't gotten the chance to fully experience 3D games yet. But then, on Christmas Day of 2002, my gaming life was changed forever, as I opened not only my first next generation console, but my first video game console to call my own. And I immediately didn't know what it was. God, I never realized how stupid of a kid I was. I actually thought it was a CD player or some shit. A CD player! At least I didn't think it was actually a purple lunchbox or something. But as soon as my parents pointed out Mario on the box, I knew exactly what it was. So I set up the console for the first time, booted up Super Mario Sunshine, and the rest is history. Now, I could be here all day explaining how this little purple lunchbox made me who I am today. How it introduced me to all the innovations in gaming that I had missed out on. How it helped me find friends to experience these new and expansive 3D worlds with. And maybe I will in a future video someday. But just know that, as silly as it may sound, I am who I am today thanks to this console. This console gave me my childhood. I have so many fond memories of going to school and discussing how far we each got the night before in The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, inviting neighborhood kids over to play Animal Crossing with, and closing our eyes as we wrote in-game letters to each other. It was certainly one hell of a time to grow up as a Nintendo fan. And I have this little purple cube to thank for all these memories. These memories that I will always treasure dearly for many more years to come. So there you have it. There's a few gifts I remember fondly as a kid. Every holiday season I just love looking back on this stuff and remembering a time before life became just a 40-hour paycheck. So although I might not get too excited over gifts nowadays, the holidays are at least a reminder of a more beautiful time. Whether I was teaching a robot dog how to sit, evicting the rescue heroes from their home, or exploring a new world, it definitely was and still is a magical time of year. But hey, do you guys remember any of the toys I mentioned in this video? Do you guys have any neato gifts that you received in the past during the holidays? Be sure to let me know in the comments because I'd actually really love to hear any stories you guys have. Also, if you haven't already, please feel free to check out some past videos if you enjoyed this one. And if you really enjoyed this video, hey, why not subscribe? It's free, I don't know. Be a good Christmas gift, you know? But yeah, also leave a like if you enjoyed the video, it really helped me out, and yeah. As always, thanks for watching, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and hope you have an amazing New Year.